Forget all those like nursing school study guides, all those people that are gonna like try to sell you these $100 $300 study guides. They're cute to have, like they're cute to refer to if you like having a hard time, but most of the time you can find all those resources online for the free. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. If you're not new, hi, welcome back to watch another one of my videos. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my study routine, how I've been studying in nursing school, kind of like achieve grades like these and these. If you like to find out how I study and how you can also like incorporate these tips into your study routine, then keep on watching. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys some things that I do before I go to class, what I do during class, what I do after class, a week before the exam, and like kind of like 3 days until I take the exam. Normally at the beginning of the semesters, your professors will kind of like provide you a class schedule where like they list all the topics that you guys will be going over and what chapters they'll be covered. Usually before I go to class, I like to go over the topics that we'll be covering the next day in class. That way I kind of like familiarize myself with the material. So the professor would like post the PowerPoint that we'll be covering the following class. I go in and download the PowerPoint into my computer. I would either like print it where I have like 4 PowerPoint slides into 1 page, or sometimes just like convert it into like an outline and then I copy it over to a Google Doc and add in some notes. Okay, so here's a little bit of a demonstration to show you guys what exactly I was talking about. So after you download your PowerPoint, you click onto the view icon on the top of the page, and then there's gonna be like an outline view on the top as well. You can go ahead and click that and highlight everything and go ahead and copy it over to either like Word document or like Google Docs, which is what I normally use. And then from there on, you can just go ahead and edit it to your liking. You can change the titles, you can change the subtitles, and then you can also like make bullet points, add pictures, just whatever you like to kind of like fit your preference. And then you can also utilize this as your study guide as well. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. Like I download the PowerPoint into my computer. I kind of like put it into this format where there's like 4 PowerPoint slides per page. That way like there's not a lot of pages and I'm not like wasting a lot of ink. So this is an example of one of the lectures that we covered this previous semester. This was like a 94 slides lecture. Even with doing all this, there's still like a lot of papers here. 25 pages and it's double-sided. So I highly recommend doing it, especially if like you guys are gonna be discussing a subject that you're not familiar with. And there's like several ways you can do this. If you don't have a lot of time, I would recommend just like skimming over the text. Look, see what's bolded. There's usually a lot of boxes in the chapter, so I would recommend kind of like skimming through those boxes, because I feel like most of your like exam questions come through your boxes. Another way that you can do this, you can go to YouTube and type up the subject that you guys will be discussing. Usually watch either Simple Nursing or Level Up RN. The reason I like to watch these two before lecture is because their videos are normally really short and they just go straight to the point. Mainly cover the most important things about a subject and what you actually like need to know. While I'm doing all that, I also like write on top of the PowerPoint. So like say that this is the PowerPoint that I printed. While I'm skimming through the textbook or like watching the YouTube videos, I will like add notes onto like the top of the PowerPoint with a pen, just like right on top, or like highlight. Okay, so after doing all this, you kind of have a little bit of an idea of what you guys will be discussing. It's now lecture time. When I go to class, I try to come prepared. I try to get a good seat. I take the PowerPoints that I printed. I make sure I have like my pens, my highlighters, and then I also usually have my iPad opened up. So during class, I would record the lecture while the professor is talking using my iPad, and I would still be taking notes on top of the PowerPoint with just a pen. I normally use a red pen that would kind of like stand out and kind of like signal, hey, the professor said this, it's probably gonna be important. Just write the things that she said that are not already on here. They'll kind of like hint things. You're gonna need to know this for exam. Every time they say that, I like either highlight it or like star it. Everything on red is something that the professor was saying that was not already on here. If there's like numbers, values, mnemonics, any like words like refer to a person, symptom that is named after a person, 100% is gonna be on the exam. An example would kind of be like a positive Murphy sign. Any symptom that kind of like has a name to it, highlight it, circle it, star it. Any lab values on here, for example, urine specific gravity, circle that. And then like during classroom time, this is the best time for you to ask questions if there's anything that you don't understand about a subject. So with nursing school, I don't know how it works with other programs, but normally for my program, we only go over a topic one time. The next time we meet is gonna be like exams or quiz or whatever it is, if you leave out of that classroom without understanding whatever was just talked about and you just like wait until exam day, you're gonna be struggling. The professor is not gonna go over the same material that you guys went over last week just so you can understand, because there's just so much things that they have to cover. They don't have like a lot of time to like sit there and make you understand. Sometimes in nursing school you're gonna have to teach yourself a lot of material. Okay, so by this time you're now leaving class, you have an idea of what you guys talked about, you asked your question, you got your clarifications on stuff. If you guys are going over like a specific disease, let's say for example med-surg covers a lot of like diseases. I feel like with med-surg you're gonna have to see the material over and over again for you to actually like understand. So what I normally do after I get home, let's say if we're going over like diabetes, hypertension, and I'm just stuck on like how does this actually work in the body, with med-surg you have to understand what's going on. Yes, you can kind of like read the topics, read the PowerPoint and stuff, but if you don't comprehend well, you like if they ask you like, so like tell me what's going on in the body, what happens with this organ, if you don't understand that, you're gonna have a lot of hard time. This is what I do to kind of like help me fill in the gaps. I usually watch Sarah, registered nurse RN, on YouTube. Her videos are really long, but she explains so well. She goes so in depth about a disease. She's gonna explain you exactly what's going on with the body. She's also going to like draw pictures on the board. She usually use the board and she'll kind of like give you like images and tell you exactly what's going on, like the pathophysiology, what to look out for, how the patient is gonna present, some symptoms they'll have, and like nursing interventions. What are we gonna do for this patient to like help them feel better and all that. Yeah, I watch Sarah, registered nurse, and I take notes on her videos as well. If you go to the video description, she's gonna have a quiz that goes along with that video. I usually take that little quiz and sometimes I would even like copy it out and put it into like a Word document. So after you've done all that, like the pre-lecture, during lecture, and post-lecture, you should have a really good understanding of the topic that you guys are talking about, and you can like start building your study guides. There's like several ways you can make your study guides in nursing school. One way you can do it is by uploading your PowerPoint into ChatGPT and ask it to make you study guides. The only downside with this, ChatGPT doesn't pick up on everything, so you're gonna have to like go back in and change stuff. Or you can also create your study guide by printing out the outline of the PowerPoint that you guys were just talking about. So the way I personally been making my study guide, and I feel like it was effective, was just typing it out by myself. So here's an example of one of my study guide I created this previous semester. This was adult health exam 2, and as you can tell, I try to include pictures in there and try to bold text, and I also try to make some things in red so they can kind of like stand out. So this past semester I try to work ahead of time, that way I'm not like overwhelmed with the amount of material. So what I was doing that I felt like was so helpful was like as soon as I leave the class, I try to do my post lecture right away. I watch the YouTube videos, take notes, that way like before I go to the class again, because usually with nursing school classes you guys only meet once a week. Let's say this class was on Monday, so after Monday I go ahead and start like doing the YouTube, taking my notes, and go ahead and like start typing this stuff. That way when we meet again like next week, we're going over a different topic. Like while I'm typing my study guide, I don't print it, I just like save it on a Word document and wait until like a week away from the exam to like actually print the whole thing out. Another point that I also like to mention during the post lecture portion is to try to take handwritten notes. In addition to like the YouTube video notes that you took, I would also kind of like suggest take handwritten notes from the material that you guys were just like talking about, like the stuff that kind of like, I don't know, like this stuff. You can also like go ahead and take notes on these, but like you don't have to write everything word for word. Just take notes of like what was kind of like emphasized on, or like what the professor said to look out for, just stuff like that. You don't have to like hand write everything. So I have my PowerPoint, I have my notes that I took pre-lecture, during lecture, and now I go home, I take my notebook and I write the stuff that's on here on top of my notebook again, just so it kind of like, I don't know, it helps with understanding for some reason. Like it is a lot of work. Some people, they can just look at the material one time and get it. Unfortunately me, I have to go like above and beyond for me to actually like understand this stuff and do well on my exams. So this is kind of like what's been working for me. So when it comes to like the YouTube videos that I was just talking about, I usually just grab like a printed paper, like those white papers, to like take notes on. So this is, for example, some of the videos that I watched for Sarah, registered nurse. On top of the paper, I usually like write where like I'm getting this information from, like the source. This is from Sarah, just a nurse, and here's like the pictures that she draws on her board that you can like go over with her, and he's like more stuff. So all this here, this is just like white paper things from the material that we've already like gone over in class. Some of these also include like videos from Nexus Nursing. I usually watch her as well after I'm done with everything for like practice questions and kind of like apply the information into the real world. Okay, so we're leaving class. Next week we have an exam. We've covered all the material, and now, everything. And here's an example. This was over exam 1, by the way. This was fluid and electrolyte, musculoskeletal, and fractures, all those other things. So my professor usually like kind of like gives us like a little like exam blueprint, tells you, oh, this topic will have this amount of questions. They don't really like give you like a study guide. No, they just like tell you fluid and electrolytes is gonna have 20 questions. That's basically all you're given. Top here, I have fluid and electrolyte, and I wrote 20 questions. I like doing this because let's say musculoskeletal only has like 5 questions, and I see that fluid and electrolytes has 20. Like spend most of your time on that topic and on the topic that only has like 5 questions on it. So after I print it all out, I just like review everything, like review the PowerPoint, review all of my notes. I highlight once again and also write on top of the study guide. Here's an example. It's a lot. The next step of my study process is the application, and I usually try to do this like at least 3 days away from the exam, or 4 if I have time. The way that I do this is by watching Nexus Nursing or just like using this book right here. Nexus Nursing, she goes over a lot of like practice questions. I try to answer the question before she comes up with the answer, and then she'll kind of like give you rationales as to why that specific answer is correct. And then she also like explain to you why the other options are not right. When it comes to a question that I don't understand or I found it difficult to answer the question, I usually like write that question down. And here's an example. So these were like practice questions that I took from her. I would write the question and I would also write the answer and the rationale as to why that answer is correct. But my camera is heating up, so I need to kind of like hurry. It's getting hot. What was I talking about? The Saunders NCLEX book. I bought this book off Amazon. I believe it was like $59 or something, and I love it. Like if you're looking to buy any like outside resources, forget all those like nursing school study guides, all those people that are gonna like try to sell you these $100, $300 study guides. They're cute to have, like they're cute to refer to if you like having a hard time, but most of the time you can find all those resources online for the free. Honestly, I feel like this is the only book you need if you're looking for like any other outside resources. And the reason I say that is because it covers everything. At the end of each chapter, there's practice questions that goes along with it. And if you feel like those practice questions are not enough, there's a code on here that you can put like into their website, and then it'll give you even more questions to go along with that subject. So when you open up their website, it's gonna give you like all the classes that's covered with this book. So fundamentals, adult health, paid maternity. You can click onto like whatever class that you want, and then within that class there's gonna be other topics that are covered in that class. So for example, like adult health, you can go over like diabetes, like you can go over like pancreatitis, cholecystitis, all those, and then like there's just like a bunch of practice questions that goes with each topic. Using it while in nursing school is kind of like a bonus point because you're also studying to take your NCLEX. At the end of the program, when you're done, you kind of like, you're so familiar with the NCLEX style questions, and you won't even have to like study a lot because you've been doing the work along the way. I found practice questions helpful. I live by practice questions. Like with nursing school, you can know the PowerPoint from top to bottom. You can read your textbook. You can do everything. But if you cannot apply that information into the real world, you might as well not do anything. Like nursing school questions are typed so different. Like the question is gonna like give you scenarios. So you have a patient coming in with this and this, they're presenting with this, they have symptoms of this. What is your nursing interventions? And if you only learn like acute cholecystitis is the inflammation of the gallbladder, you're gonna be stuck. That's basically how I've been studying this previous semester. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully you guys kind of like got some things off this PowerPoint. hopefully you guys got some things off this video that you can kind of like add into your study routine to kind of like make you even more successful. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below what you think. Besides that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.